Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm actually going to be talking about where and how I get my skins and how I create them, etc, because some people actually won't know how to get acrylic skins. It may seem very simple, it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. Well, in my terms it is if you don't know how to go about it. So previously I've done some acrylic pours. Acrylic pouring is a mixture of a pouring medium, which in my case is PVA glue, and acrylic paint that ranges from different price points to really expensive to really cheap craft paint. It's same with the pouring medium. You can use Floetrol, Liquitex, all the way down to PVA glue or even water. It depends on your price point and what you can afford. So here is an acrylic pour. When I was doing a little acrylic pour, I was literally just popping these down with a sheet of non-stick paper, which is basically like baking paper or anything that doesn't stick to anything, if that makes any sense. So I literally just did my pour, I did a little pop. If you don't know what acrylic pouring is, I'll leave a link to maybe this video down below. Obviously when you tilt it about, you have it like this lump in the middle of acrylic paint. You just tilt about and obviously you're going to get some runoff. Now this runoff is what creates acrylic skins, because it will fall onto this baking parchment which I have underneath, and it will leave little kind of, I like to call them puddles, on the surface. Now with these there will be different types. There'll be quite shallow ones which will dry within a couple of hours, and there'll be areas which have a lot more puddles and therefore a lot more dry, a lot slower because of this. So this is one way to get it. I'll show you how to get it off. But you also have your paint pots that you pour your PVA Floetrol into with your acrylic paints, and this is kind of what happens after you've used it up. These are quite empty because when I do acrylic pours, when I've got like a little bit of this left, I use another pot, pop it on top to then get all the paint into that pot to use as a dirty pour in the near future. So these are the two little pots. That's one way you can use to collect acrylic skins. Not as effective as this, because this is much more of a mixture rather than just kind of a solid primary colour. So with this, it's very straightforward. To get acrylic skin off is, because it's a parchment paper, you pretty much just slowly move around and it just comes off like so. And there we have it. That is a pretty cool acrylic skin. It is very much more textured than some of the others I've got. On the other side you also have the little drops which you can see from different throughout the days. As long as you've got one side that you like, then it's a pretty successful acrylic skin pour. So yeah, that is the reason why we use this type of parchment paper, because it really just makes it easier to peel off. You can use tinfoil. It is not as successful because sometimes it doesn't actually peel off and it actually gets stuck to it, so you can either cut it out. However, if you have access to a piece of Perspex, which is, ooh, that bit's wet, which is what I've got underneath. I use this pretty much for everything, from plaster making to print making to even doing acrylic pours on. This is very good for using as instead of your parchment paper. You can use it for your big pours, but for small pours I really would go and stick with your parchment paper, just because it's easier to move about and you're not wasting your main board. Anyway, so obviously you'll get different types of acrylic skins off of your parchment paper, but you can also get much larger pieces, which is this part. This came off actually my Perspex board when I did a much larger pour. Just goes to show the different kind of types. This was much more with Coffin Black acrylic paints, and this is with Classmates acrylic paints, and they're all acrylic paints will create this kind of different texture, especially with different types of pouring mediums as well. So that is the way how you can get it off, and you can use this for jewellery. I tend to use it as collage on top of my ink pours, just to kind of liven it up and make the composition a bit more cool. In terms of getting the paint out the pot, it's pretty much just as easy as this. You can literally just, this is when I can't get out. Try and find a thick bit. Okay, so there's this little part here. And you literally just pour it out like that. This isn't as successful and as permanent, I want to say, as the parchment paper, because this is going to be a lot more thinner than a collection, but you do get some pretty cool acrylic skins compared to the usual. Let's just say you're going to get more cool skins from a pot that is being used to pour all the colours in than just one prime colour like this one. So say this is the main pot which you pour the colours in, you're going to get a lot more arrangement of colours compared to just having a yellow pot of yellow. Not to say that's not as good to use, but it just depends. Each pot would have different parts, and thinking about it, this is quite cool because you've also got the yellow, red and obviously purple on top. But when it does come down to the pots, I would use these a good 3 or 4 times to get a good build up, because as I am using PVA glue, it is a lot thinner than the, say, Floetrol Liquitex. It is easier to peel off, I think, but in terms of thinness, it can easily break off and you'll end up like little segments rather than a long string, just like this one. As you can see with this is very, very thin anyway, and I think this is just from 3 pours compared to, you know, this collection of paints. There you go. That is just a couple of ways of how I collect my acrylic skins and how they are actually collected. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's very, very simple way of showing you what acrylic skins is, and I really hope this is basic enough for the people who don't actually know what acrylic skins are or where they come from is, and I hope they understand it. If there's any questions, please leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer them, and give this video a like if you liked it. Also subscribe for any other videos like this. I don't mind breaking down parts of my process even more because I quite enjoy it. It's actually really nice to be able to speak about it outside of my brain for once. And yeah, I shall see you guys for my next video. Bye now.